Hi, I'm DelusionDispeller, back to talk to you more about borderline personality disorder. It's very common in BPD for people with this disorder to have suicidal behaviors, or threaten suicide, or there's my cats fighting over there, sorry. They will cut themselves, they will burn themselves, not always in an attempt to kill themselves, but a lot of self-harm, a lot of turning on the self goes along with BPD. But often they will threaten the person that they love if they're going to leave them. Well, if you leave, I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to take all these pills. I'm going to shoot myself in the head. I'm going to end it all. And they'll threaten this, and some of them will even carry it out. Don't ever take a suicide threat as, oh, well, they're just trying to get attention. And especially with a borderline person, they're already feeling very unstable. Their self-worth is very damaged. So don't take when they say, I'm going to kill myself or whatever, as just an idle threat. They may act on it. So if anybody ever tells you they're going to kill themselves, please call for help. Call 911. Call a suicide hotline type of thing. Do what you can to help your friend or your loved one. Okay, I believe this is the last criteria per se. There is what they call affective instability. Best way I can put this in layman's terms is their facial expressions lack real emotion or emotional depth, I guess you could say, a lot of times. Or sometimes they're very intense. So it's just not a natural facial look with somebody with this disorder. They are very reactive. So they have very intense moods of depression. They call it dysphoria, where you're depressed for a long period of time. They also can be very irritable and anxious for a few hours up to a few days. The problem with this disorder is you never know which one you're going to get. It's not like, I wouldn't say it's an established pattern where, okay, at 4 o'clock he's going to be angry, and at 8 o'clock the next morning she's going to wake up happy. It's not always something you can watch in a pattern with a borderline. Although at times there are patterns. It's just not always a pattern behavior. There are things that trigger borderlines. So the way you look at them, the way you said something, a noise, a sound, a gesture, can set them off to the point where they just explode into a fit of feathers over even something you might think is the slightest little thing, but to a borderline it's huge. Their moods can go from irritable to anxious to depressed to angry and back to depressed really quickly. It almost looks like bipolar disorder. And sometimes there's a crossover between bipolar disorder and borderline. Borderline people have trouble regulating their moods so that the people around them, since they don't know how they're going to act at any given moment, will walk on eggshells and try not to upset the borderline or not to excite them in some way. They never know, the people that live with a borderline person, they never know what's going to set them off or trigger them. It could be speaking too soon to them before the borderline is ready to really listen about a certain topic. It could be using a wrong tone with them. They're very perceptive, but sometimes falsely perceptive. They think that you're being picky at them when you're not. They can be often very paranoid about things and think that you're plotting against them, or that you don't like them, or that you're devising some kind of scheme to harm them in some way at times. It's very crucial if you're around somebody with this disorder to be very sensitive and watch what things do set them off, because some triggers can have a pattern and you can tell how to act around the borderline with this pattern. The hard thing is finding that balance between the walking on eggshells and keeping from triggering the borderline to living a somewhat stable life in their presence. It's very difficult, and I My heart goes out to you if you have to live with somebody like this, because it's very, very disconcerting. It makes you kind of insecure because you don't know whether you're getting Jekyll or Hyde at the moment. And the happy thing is there is treatment. It's called dialectical behavior therapy. And I suggest you look it up if you know anybody with this disorder, if you can get them to go into therapy. It's a wonderful program. It's DBT, dialectical behavior therapy. And they work with people in this DBT to help them establish a firmer understanding and balance in their lives about their emotions and their reactions and how they affect other people's emotions and reactions. And they teach them new ways to cope if they have this disorder. So again, DBT or also cognitive behavioral therapy is really good for helping the borderline person. Anyway, that's just a little bit of brief information about BPD, borderline personality disorder. If you have anything to add and you may have this disorder yourself, please feel free. Type in the comments below. You can write me at DelusionDispeller@gmail.com if you want. I also offer sessions for a fee, and I'll discuss that with you in email if you, again, write me at DelusionDispeller@gmail.com. Meanwhile, thank you for watching. I am feeling much better. Thank you for all your lovely thoughts and prayers and well wishes and good thoughts and blessings sent my way. And for those of you that have said some really mean stuff about me, I forgive you. I understand. You probably feel pretty bad yourself to be putting somebody down in that way. And my heart goes out to you. You know, people are just people. Some people have evil thoughts and evil intentions and are really evil themselves. And to those people, may God forgive you and may you get restored. But there's some people that are just hurting and they lash out because they're hurting. And I realize that working in customer service, as long as I have now, you can't allow other people to frame your world. Just let it go. Realize that they're wherever they're at. Pray for them and move on. Bless them and send loving wishes their way. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'm going to go for now. Heading out to church shortly. So God bless you, and stay tuned for more when I come up with more ideas. Okay? Bye-bye. Take care of yourselves. See you later.